Nobody cares about you. You spend your days convinced the world is watching your every move, analyzing your choices, and cataloging your mistakes. They're not, and that realization is the most liberating shift you will ever experience. Think about the physical sensation of walking late into a crowded room, is locked onto you, silently critiquing your posture, your clothes, or your intellect. Psychologists identify this as the spotlight effect. It is a biological survival mechanism. We evolved in small tribes, where social standing was a matter of life and death, so your brain is hardwired to believe that your most awkward moments are being broadcast under a blinding, high-intensity light. This glitch forces us to live in a state of constant performance. We spend our mental energy managing an image for a crowd that, in reality, isn't even looking at the stage. The immediate result of feeling watched is self-censorship. You instinctively shrink. You quiet your voice and file down your personality to ensure you don't provide the audience with anything to judge. We see the consequences of this in every boardroom and social circle in America. You swallow a creative idea during a meeting because it sounds too out there. You hesitate to start a new project because you're already picturing the look on people's faces if you fail. We manufacture a massive amount of pressure to project a curated, perfect life. Maintaining that facade is a full-time job that pays nothing. The mental bandwidth used to predict how neighbors or colleagues perceive you is energy you cannot use to actually build the life you want. This fear of a judgmental audience functions as an invisible cage. It is the primary reason most people choose the safety of the status quo over the risk of being themselves. To dismantle this cage, you have to look at the math. We assume others are analyzing us because we are hyper-focused on ourselves. We project our own self-obsession onto everyone else. But the math doesn't support that. Every person you encounter is operating with that exact same egocentric bias. In a world where everyone is obsessed with their own story, no one is watching yours. The audience is a collective of people who are all staring at their own reflection. Even when you make a visible mistake, whether it's a minor trip in public or a high-stakes failure like a business that goes under, the memory of that event has a remarkably short lifespan. We experience social memory decay. There is a massive gap between how long you will dwell on a failure and how long an observer will even remember it happened. Look at the decay curve. The solid line is your internal memory. You might feel the sting of a public rejection for months, but the dotted line is the observer's attention. Their focus resets immediately. Even a big failure is just a temporary novelty to them. Whatever judgment they held is overwritten the moment they face a new priority in their own life. A stranger's flat tire or a coworker's upcoming vacation will always be more important to them than your most embarrassing moment. The failures you think will define you forever are actually just microscopic blips that disappear from the collective memory in a matter of hours. Realizing that you aren't the center of the world's attention might feel like a blow to the ego. We all want to feel significant. But this realization is the mechanical foundation of actual agency. Genuinely confident people aren't necessarily braver than you. They don't have a fearless gene that you're missing. Their secret is simply an understanding of the math of attention. They recognize that since no one is keeping a permanent record of their stumbles, the social cost of failure is essentially zero. This realization removes the social tax from your actions. You can launch that business, speak your mind, or try a new path, because the memory of a potential failure has no staying power. You are operating in an empty theater. It's time to put down the burden. The judges you've been trying to please don't exist, and the critics you're afraid of are too busy criticizing themselves to notice you. Realizing that nobody cares gives you back the agency to live by your own metrics. You are finally free to act, not for the approval of an audience, but for the clarity of your own purpose. If you're ready to stop performing for an empty room and start living for yourself, like this video and subscribe. Tell me in the comments, what's the one thing you'd do today if you knew for a fact that no one was judging you?